Hello folks, Charlie Gipple here. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all of that good stuff. I wanted to have a quick conversation with you today about a conversation I had the other day on annuities. And this was at a Christmas party. Yes, I am a boring Christmas party conversationalist. There's about a 99.5% chance that if you talk to me at any party, it will come back to life insurance or annuities. Or not that I solicit people all the time, but just I love this stuff that we talk about. So chances are it's going to come back to that. Well, I'm happy to say that I did not broach this conversation the other day. The conversation around annuities was broached by a friend of mine. His name is Ryan. Ryan came up to me and he said, "Hey, Charlie, so you're in this financial stuff." He says, "Question for you. So I'm 45 today. If I want to retire 20 years from now and want to take out, say, $100,000 per year from my stock and bond portfolio," he says, which you know where I'm going with this. He says, "How much do I need at retirement?" I said, "Well, Ryan, it depends." He goes, What's it depend on? I said, "Well, it depends on a lot of things. You know, what's inflation going to be between now and then? What's $100,000 actually going to equal when you're 65, 20 years from now? What's inflation going to do to today's $100,000? Is it going to be 200,000, 250, 300,000 years from now? Do we take into consideration Social Security?" And I, as well as any other financial advisor out there, could easily model that stuff out for you. But one thing, this was my opportunity, right? And I want you to add this to your arsenal of responses should you get that question, which there are 78 million baby boomers today that are asking that question, right? I said, but one thing that it really depends on in a big way is, what's up here, Ryan? What are your beliefs around annuities? If you believe in annuities, the chances are your lump sum that you're going to be required to have at retirement is going to be a lot less than if you do not believe in annuities. If you only believe in the 1980s mindset, the 1990s mindset of there is not a problem that could not be solved by the stock market, if you still have that mindset of the 80s and 90s, which by the way, we're in a completely new normal, Ryan, then chances are you're going to need a lot more money than if you believe in annuities, at least with a portion of your money. For example, Morningstar, as of a few years ago, says 2.8% is all you could take out from a portfolio. Your retirement balance at age 65, 2.8% to last a 30-year retirement. William Bingham back in 1994, and you could Google this stuff, Morningstar withdrawal rates and retirement, William Bingham withdrawal rates and retirement. William Bingham said in 1994 it was 4%, but Morningstar again recently updated that. But regardless, Ryan, if you would like, I'll tell you what I mean when I say if you believe in annuities, chances are you're going to need a lot less at retirement than if you did not believe in annuities. He goes, "Yeah, could you draw that out?" I said, "Yeah." So a napkin. I pulled out a napkin, and here is what I drew out for Ryan. I said, "Ryan, we're not going to model 20 years out from now. Let's say that you're 63 years of age, just to simplify this conversation. You have $1 million in a stock and bond portfolio, and you, Ryan, at 63 years of age, you don't want to hear about this annuity crap, right? You say, hey, I want to retire 2 years from now at age 65. I want my $1 million to basically finance whatever it can finance over a 30-year retirement." I said, okay, so let's have a logical, rational conversation that is backed by numbers and backed off of what comes out of your mouth, not necessarily what my projections are. So Ryan, question for you. You're 63 years of age. You have $1 million, let's say, and you're going to need more than that to get $100,000 per year in income. Just bear with me here because I want to demonstrate my point of the difference between dollar amounts of annuities to fund a 30-year retirement and not annuities to fund a 30-year retirement. So you have $1 million, you want to retire 2 years from now. Let's say it's a stock and bond portfolio, 50-50, let's say, at retirement. We could get into that some more, but 50-50, let's say, 50% stocks, 50% bonds. 2 years from now, what would you expect the rate of return on this $1 million to be over the next 2-year period of time? The annual rate of return, not too aggressive, not too conservative. Ryan says, well, 63 years old, I wouldn't be too aggressive at that time because I'm within that retirement red zone. Wow, that's pretty cool, Ryan. You know about the red zone, right? Because I would say, 5%. I said, okay, let's assume 5%. By the way, it doesn't matter. You could put 10% in here. But Ryan says 5%. Okay, so you and I agree that 5% or that $1 million over 2 years, not including compounding, let's keep this simplified, that $1 million turns into $1,100,000. Are you with me? He goes, yeah, I'm with you. I said, so at that point in time, what withdrawal percentage do you take out from that stock and bond portfolio? So your wish came true, or what you believe should happen, or that 2-year period of time came true. Well, at that point in time, in order to fund a 30-year retirement from the stock and bond portfolio, not annuities, stock and bond portfolio, how much is it? What percentage is it that you should take out every year? He says, I don't know, you tell me. I said, well, William Bingen, B-E-N-G-E-N, back in 1994 said 4% per year will fund a 30-year retirement. And it adjusts for inflation, 4% per year. Now, Morningstar, I want to say 5, 6, 7 years ago, maybe 10 years ago already, Morningstar came out and they updated this and said, no, because of this sequence of returns risk, because of low interest rates and that bond component, not having a good interest rate nowadays versus the 1990s, it's 2.8% is what Morningstar said. Again, you can Google all of this stuff. Morningstar, withdrawal rates in retirement. I said, Ryan, I will give you the William Bingen one. Let's say it's 4%. So at retirement, you take out 4%. Whoops, that's supposed to be a zero there. You take out 4%. That's $44,000 in that first year, right? $44,000. That's if that 1 million grows to 1,100,000. That's assuming that you believe in the 4% rule. Forget the 2.8% rule. If everything goes as you hope it goes, $44,000 is what you can get or hopefully get each year for a 30-year retirement. But what if those things don't come true? What if this thing going from $1 million to $1,100,000, i.e. that 5% per year, what if that doesn't come true? What if we have another 2008, 2009 that instead comes true? What if that $1 million goes to $800,000 over that 2-year period of time? Well, Ryan, your $800,000 times 4% at retirement, what is your income, at least in that first year of retirement, at that point in time? As well, 800,000 times 4%, that's only $32,000. I said, yes, more than a 25% pay cut, right? You lost $12,000 off your expectations. Your retirement could be completely different than what you had hoped had happened. Now, Ryan, if you would like me to discuss with you what I mean by annuities, you don't need as much money. In other words, retirement can kind of be on sale, right? You do not need as much money to get that $44,000, or rather, with the same amount of money, how much retirement income you can get if you have that in an annuity. If you'd like me to demonstrate that, I will. He says, absolutely, let's see it. I said, okay, so let's say that your $1 million at 63, you put it into an annuity. And without even looking at the average roll-up rate and all that stuff today, I said, let's say that between now, 63, and age 65, your $1 million from an income base standpoint. He goes, what do you mean by income base? We've all heard this before, right? I said, well, annuities are like the opposite of life insurance. You see, with this rider that we put on annuities, which guarantees lifetime income eventually, it's like there are two values, because Ryan, life insurance has two different values primarily, right? At least permanent life insurance. He goes, yeah, it does. I said, what are those two values? He goes, well, you have the big value, which is what gets paid out at death. I said, yeah. He goes, but don't you usually have a cash value? I said, yeah, that's right. The cash value is if you were to cash out, right? Annuities have cash value. But that second value, which is usually the higher value, whether it's life insurance or annuities, that is that value that is only paid out upon a triggering event, or upon a triggering process, or upon the consumer following the rules. Now, the consumer has to follow one rule in order for somebody to get that bigger death benefit with life insurance, right? He says, yeah, they have to die. I said, yes, not very fun. And technically I could go into long-term care and all that other stuff. But I said it's the same thing with annuities. In order to get a bigger value, which I'm going to demonstrate to you here in a bit, there is a rule that has to be followed, and I'll talk about that. But anyway, what this bigger value is it is a guarantee that each and every year that $1 million is going to grow by, say, 6%. Let's assume a 6% roll-up rate, right? So that $1 million from an income standpoint goes to $1,120,000. 6%, I'm not assuming compounding here. That's guaranteed. That's no ifs, ands, or buts. You see, your $1 million in cash value could drop to $800,000, doesn't matter. Your benefit base is going to $1,120,000. And Ryan, when you turn age 65, what percentage are you taking out from your $1,120,000? He says 4%. I said, no. 4% is completely different. The William Bingen withdrawal rate thing and how these things are actually priced, two completely different things. A common withdrawal rate at age 65 on many of these riders is 5%. So that rule that I said that Ryan has to follow in order to get that bigger amount, Ryan, this is the rule you have to follow, is you cannot take out more than 5% per year. And what will be given to you? Well, 5% times whatever your benefit base is at that point in time. He goes, well, that's pretty good, right? I said, well, yeah, your benefit base is $1,120,000 times 5%. That is $56K per year. $56K per year. And I said, and do you remember what it was in your ideal scenario on the previous napkin that I had? He said, yeah, $44,000. I said, yeah, so this is what? Over 25% higher than your $44,000 scenario? Absolutely 100% guaranteed. He goes, well, but in your other scenario, you're not being just here to the stock and bond thing, because in that other scenario, the market could go up. Okay, I know that it can go up more than just 5% per year. The stock and bond portfolio could go up 10% per year. So Ryan, I did some backwards math here because this isn't my first rodeo discussing this. My backwards math is, in order to get $56,000 per year from that stock and bond portfolio, once you withdraw, or in order to withdraw 4% per year, so that it equals $56,000 per year, what does that lump sum have to grow to over that 2-year period of time? So what does your stock and bond portfolio have to do in order to equal what I'm guaranteeing you from this annuity, Ryan? Because I don't know. Heck, I'm not a human computer. I said, well, I've already done the math. The answer to that question is your $1 million has to grow to $1.4 million over a 2-year period of time, which is less than, a little less than 20% when you assume compounding. I said, are you that bullish in the stock and bond market? He goes, I'm not, especially not at 63 when I have 2 years left for retirement. I said, well, this is the power of annuities with GLWBs. I said, we can talk about inflation and the fact that the 4% rule had inflation, had the inflation effects or inflation adjustments on top of that 4%. We can talk about all that, but my point to all this is don't put all your money into an annuity. Maybe you look at some of it because it is longevity insurance. It is the opposite of life insurance. Life insurance uses this magical power of pooling in order to hedge the risk of somebody dying too early. Annuities does the opposite, which is uses the magical power of pooling in order to hedge against somebody dying too late. How do we do that? How's the insurance company do? What if everybody lived to be 120? I said, Ryan, here's an example here. There are 5 95-year-olds around the table. They're playing bingo. One of the 95-year-old ladies looks to the other 4 and says, this is boring. This is boring. We've been playing bingo for 40 years. Instead, let's put $100 into a pool. And here's the thing. That pool, which there's 5 of us, will turn into $500. 1 year from now, whoever is still alive, we can split up that pool among whoever is left of us. 1 year goes by, the mortality tables say that there are 4 of those 96-year-olds left. That divvies up the pool. How much do each of those 4 96-year-olds get? $125. Without investing in anything, $125, right? That's magical, right? That is the magical power of pooling. That is the magical power of longevity credits. That's how we do it, Ryan. So I threw out a lot in this video, And if you get one snippet, 30-second snippet, 1-minute snippet, or the entire video that you can remember and deliver, or at least give you ideas on how to deliver your own message, then it was worth my time. Happy New Year and happy holidays. Talk to you next time.